I was born in Hermosillo, Sonora, which is the capital city of my state in Mexico. Um, it's right across from Arizona, and since I was a kid, I had a really amazing childhood because since I was five, I knew I wanted to be in front of people talking. So I wanted to be a professor, a teacher. So I remember once in Christmas, I got for Christmas present a blackboard and chalk, and I pretended to be the teacher with my sister and my cousin. So um, I was always very extroverted and always the salt of the party and gathering people. And as I grew up, I think that was one of my goals to be, like in front of people talking. I never imagined that I would be or I would have a vocation for priesthood, but as I went through elementary, junior, and high school, well, I was involved in all sort of activities like artistic activities like art and music and theater and also in bands like music bands. So when I was 16, I started attending a Catholic youth group and since there I started like feeling this call to priesthood and I knew the Lord was calling, but I didn't answer. I didn't answer. So um, at the age of 21, I wanted to go to the seminary. My family didn't like the idea because I was finishing a career and starting a new one. So my mom said, "Why don't you finish this bachelor and then you can decide whether you go to the seminary or not?" So I agreed, and um, I went to my state college. I studied bachelor in English language teaching, and after that, I got a job in this university. So I started working there, and I got involved in that world, teaching world. I really loved it. We started like working throughout all the state, preparing teachers to. They started a program in elementary schools to teach English to young kids. So I don't know how, just because I always loved being in front of a lot of people talking. I got involved in this job and I started traveling around the country to United States and many places, many cities where we started a TV show to teach English, a radio show. So I got involved in all these activities, and I forgot about priesthood. But when the pandemic struck, I started like restating my life and saying what would happen if I died tomorrow. Um, how would I be remembered? And and I started visiting the Holy Sacrament, the Blessed Sacrament, every day for 1 hour. And I started feeling again this call from God that I had when I was 16, 21. And I decided to pursue this life and I started looking for orders in Mexico. And then they said that I was too old for them. And I decided to look for, somebody suggested to look for orders in the United States that probably I will be accepted. And yeah, I was looking through orders in the United States, but not seriously. Like I was not into it. So I was once in Instagram and I saw this invitation. Would you like to be a Capuchin friar? And I said, oh, that looks interesting. And I fill out the form. I sent it, and after a week, I got a response from a friar, and he invited me to have a Zoom call. We had an interview, and then he invited me to come to Chicago. I stayed there for a week, visiting the friary, the brothers, and I started liking this way of life. It was everything new for me, and I started seeing like the God was calling me to be in this order. So after a year of discernment with them, I applied to be here, and here I am. Well, yeah, I was 21 when I decided to go to the seminary, and that was the life I grew up with, like just diocesan priest. I didn't know about any other religious orders. I knew that there were some other religious orders, but I was not aware of that. And I have always been so devoted to Padre Pio, and I knew that he was Capuchin, and but I never understood this Franciscan life. Like I knew they were Franciscan because of the brown habits and all that, but I was never interested in that life. Like I wanted to be a diocesan priest, and as after that I applied for this, I started like looking, doing some research on online about this life and Capuchins and Franciscans, and I fully understood what that was. But it was not until then that I knew what was Capuchin or what was being a Capuchin. Well, I felt really welcomed and appreciated, and the fraternity that you see during dinner time, sharing stories, and there was something like was drawing me from there. Like there was like a interior peace, an inner peace inside of me that I felt like God was calling. I don't know how to explain it, how to put it into words, but there was such a peace in that place that made me realize that that was a place for me because of the way they accept people, they welcome people, you feel welcome, you embrace everybody. So it's it's a different way of living that I used to or I was accustomed to. So I I remember that the first time I was there, like the people listening to you, the way they listen to you, the way they treat you, and they accept you is totally different to the way the world is. Getting to know all the people around the ministries. I am working right now in a Catholic school, St. Joseph Academy, and I'm working with Mexican immigrants. So getting to know their stories, listening to their stories, like how blessed I am to be able to be here and work with them because they have really sad stories, like crossing the desert, traveling with people that they don't know, staying in places and with people that they are totally strangers for them, and they are 11, 12-year-old kids. So while I listened to their stories, I was thinking about how blessed I am to be here and to get to know these people and to work with them in the language in their classes, and that's a blessing. One of the major challenges that I have had, well, is adapting to the new culture, the language, the food, and I used to live very close to the border, but still interacting with people with different cultures in here, which is a multicultural country. Like I met people from Puerto Rico, from India, from Poland, from different countries. So understanding and getting across whatever you want to say and how to say it, it's been a major challenge adapting to the culture. And but at the same time, it's a blessing because you get to know all these people that you don't know in Mexico because you don't have the opportunity to get to know them. But it's a blessing to get to know different ways of thinking, ways of living, different food at the same time, and I think that's also a blessing. And I think Capuchins, we are meant to embrace every single person, whoever is in front of you, and I think that's a blessing for my life right now. Winter is so harsh in this area of the United States. I come from the desert, Sonora and Arizona. We share the same desert, and it's 120 degrees like during summer, and we're used to that. I mean, we go to classes during summer, we got ACs everywhere, but in here is exactly the opposite. And adapting to this weather is challenging. It's challenging. You have to bundle up. You have to bundle up a lot. And yeah, we recently went to Montana to visit the friars over there and the ministries that we have, and it was colder. It was colder than here, but I started to like it. I feel like at home now because um, it's just to get out when it's cold. But once you get back to your friary or the place you're going, well, it feels like home now. Well, my advice is to be open to to get to know different people and to learn from everybody. I would tell to myself, like, be open to every advice, listen to your brothers in the friary. They are here for a reason, and they are here to teach you how to live in community, which at the beginning is difficult because coming from a life where I used to live alone for a while and then living with 20, 24 people at the same time is not an easy thing. Cooking for 24 people also is really difficult, especially when I used to cook only for me. So, but you learn through practice and experience. You learn from your older brothers, like they teach you and they give you good advice about how to navigate in this community life. And I think that's one of the best pieces of advice that I've got. Like you need to be aware that it's not only you in this community or in this place. So you need to be aware that whatever you do might affect somebody else in the community. So decisions are really important in here, and yeah, I would definitely say that to myself. Listen to your brothers. They are here to guide you through this community life. Well, definitely I have felt this calling to be a priest. Since I was a kid, I started serving as an altar boy when I was 8 years old. And through all my life, I've been connected to the church in many ways. So in the future, I see myself working in a Catholic school, but at the same time ministering there as a priest and preaching, which is my passion. I really love preaching. Since I was a kid, I wanted to be in front of people and talk and give presentations. So God is calling me right now to do that, to preach the gospel, and I think I see myself doing that in the future. Also working as a professor, as a teacher in any of those schools that we have, either here in Montana or Milwaukee. So I see myself doing that ministry. I really love teaching. I try to postpone that or to, um, I would say, not to work again as a teacher, as a professor. But I think that I'm called also to do that. I think that's also my vocation. I really enjoy being in front of the students and teaching, and so I see myself doing that.